everybody, it's Christine with Coco Daisy, and today I'm going to start something new. This is a new video series that I've been thinking about, that I've been wanting to do, that I've been wanting to share with you all, kind of the behind the scenes, a little bit of what it takes to create a layout design-wise, and some of the things that go into when you create a layout, or why, when you look at certain layouts, whether they be in your memory planner, traveler's notebook, any sort of 12 by 12 layout, pocket, any kind of layout like that, when you look at them, you're on Pinterest and you're scrolling through, or you look at some of the beautiful stuff that the design team does, what is it that you're drawn to when you look at that? And a lot of times we're drawn to certain things, but we don't know why. Like, what is it about that layout that just makes it stand out, that when I look at it, everything seems to fit perfectly and it all goes together so well? What is it about that layout? Why am I drawn to it? And most of the time, aside from an absolutely fantastic photo, which is usually the first thing that you notice, there are little things that a designer will do or an artist will do when they put those things together that make it cohesive, that are these kind of little tips and tricks that we use design-wise to draw your eye in and to make you go to the focal point. And there's just repeating things that we do. There's so many little neat tricks. And as I've been doing layouts and writing up the instruction sheets for the Modern Memory Keeping Kit and the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, I found myself putting little hints in with the instructions, like, you know, here's a design tip and so on. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a video series where I take some of those layouts and I walk you through the process? This isn't going to be a how to make a layout. So it's not going to be a step-by-step on, you know, putting the layout together. I'm going to take a finished layout and I'm going to walk you through why it works. I'm going to walk you through those tricks and those things that we do to really capture your attention. And when you practice them enough and when you become aware of them, it'll become second nature when you do your own layouts. So I'm hoping it's a tool that that will really inspire you, that will help you when you create your own layouts. And I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be fun. And I've been doing it for so long. It was a fun process for me to sit down with a few of my layouts and go, oh yeah, that all works. But I do it just because I'm so used to doing it, because I've done it for so long. So it was really fun for me as well to find all those little hidden Easter eggs in there that I had put in there and share them with you. So we're gonna start this video series. I'm gonna hope to do a couple every month at least. And this is gonna be the first one, and I hope you enjoy it. As I mentioned in this series, we're gonna talk a little bit about what makes a layout appealing. And we're going to try and break that down. And the layout I have for you today is a 12 by 12 layout. And it was created using the My Escape collection. I think that was the June collection. And so one of the first things that you do, everything kind of starts with the photograph. That's what we build off of. That's where everything begins. That's where your story begins. That's where your colors come from. So when you look at this, you go, all right, what does it tell us? Or what are the elements in the photo trying to say? So the first thing that I notice are the strong graphic lines and the circle shapes. So I see these strong lines with the placemats. I see a high contrast between the white and the brown. And I see the strong circle shapes as well. So I see a very direct line in here. And then the colors, what are the colors in our photograph? So we have some browns, we have some peach tones, and then we have there's just a touch of blue in there. So we have our colors. So we have our lines, we have our colors, and we have our movement. And then what is the story in the picture? Well, the story in the picture is about food, it's about a meal, it's about dinner time, getting together with family, that kind of thing. So that's what, from first glance, that's what the story is. Now, there may be a story behind the story, and that's usually what our layouts are, is to kind of dig a little deeper about that photograph and talk about it. And that's what I'm doing here with the title, because it says take your taste buds on an adventure, because it was a poo-poo platter and that was something fun that we wanted to try. That was different than what we had normally have for dinner. We had some friends over, actually family over for dinner, and we wanted to do that. So that's the story or the theme of the photograph. So what is the focal point of the photo? So the focal point of the photo is this main platter right here. These are kind of your sub elements or the sub parts of the photograph, but that's kind of the big part that your eye is drawn to. So then the other thing that you want to do when you look at your photograph before you start your layout is, what is the movement of the photo? Well, the movement of the photo is, as I said, it's got this direction going. Because of these strong lines with the placemats, your eye goes like this. So you want to follow that movement, because when you create a layout, the number one thing is to take that viewer's eye on a journey. You're going to take their eye on a journey and draw them from a title, usually is where you begin, to the photograph. Well, usually the first thing they see is the photograph, but then they look at the title, then they look at the photograph, and then they go down, they look at the description, and they get involved in the whole story. So you're trying to keep that movement in that order, and you're trying to keep them interested. You don't want their eye to wander off the page. You don't want them to kind of read the caption and go, what am I looking at and what is involved? So you're trying to definitely keep them interested and following the progression of the layout. So that's what we do in design, is to capture their attention and lead the viewer where we want them to go. So how do we do that? So right off the bat, we know the movement goes this way. So that's the number one thing that your eye is going to follow. So we're going to use some elements that follow the theme, match the colors, and then we're going to lead the eye. So what I did is I placed it in the upper corner. Because the movement was so strong this way, I didn't necessarily want to stick it in the middle, because I had a lot of things that I kind of wanted to add to it. So I wanted to create that flow that was kind of a curve like that. And I started with a bold title. Remember, you've got a rather graphic feel to that. So a large, bold, black title works. So, and it says, take your taste buds on an adventure. Now, when you read that, your first thought is, oh, well, what is this? What is this? Something different, because you use the word adventure. We have an arrow leads you right to the photo, and it starts right here and it captures that movement. Now, because this is in the upper corner, a person's eye could actually wander off. So what I do a lot of times, I create these little bumps. So I have a little bump here with an arrow. So it's going to push that eye back into the photo and keep them moving in the direction that we want. I've added a little tag on this side as well, and it reinforces the theme and the color. So it's got what's cooking, and it reinforces the color. It's got some of that kind of that red coral tone. And then the string actually pushes the eye back down as well. So if you look, if you look at the arrow and for some reason it pushes the eye too much, this is going to bring you back down where you want to go. So you're following this, you're going down, you see the bold title, and in this title, you see the colors, and you also see small circles. So again, it's reinforcing that circle theme. You have some more of that bold title or subtitle underneath, and then another arrow. Now, the reason that you have another arrow, you may say, well, that's going to push their eye away from this. It's not. Actually, what it's doing is it's following the rule of threes. And so many times when you have a layout, you want to do three of something. Threes or sixes, nines, derivatives of threes, or odd numbers are always very pleasing to the eye. So I have 3 arrows right here, and they're all pushing you back into that photo and leading you where you need to go. So then we have, I picked a subtle kind of delicate font for my journaling, and that just kind of keeps it goes along with the whimsical look of these arrows, and it doesn't overpower anything else. So you're leading around. I've got some black speckles of paint, and again, they do that same movement. They're bringing you around to here. So you've gone through the photo, you've read, you started with this whole idea of taste buds on an adventure. What's that about? Here's the picture. Oh, interesting. You look at the title, Poo Poo Platter, and then you read, what is that all about? So you're capturing the entire story in the order that you want the viewer to see it. Then you come down and you come down to these circles, and the circles again mimic the circles in the photograph with the colors that are in the photograph. But to keep that graphic line going a little bit, I outlined them in a little bit of black. Again, it repeats this look here as well, the kind of the sketchy hand-drawn look of the arrows. But now if the circles would have just gone off the page, it would have been fine. However, I wanted to mimic something, and I wanted to accomplish something. So what I wanted to mimic is the way that these circles are cut off. So you've got that same, and again, remember, we're repeating patterns. So we're cutting off the circles at the bottom, and I'm stopping the eye. So I'm not letting the viewer's eye just drift off the page. I put the strip of pattern paper here to stop the eye. So you've gone through the whole thing, and then you've stopped the viewer's eye. So that is a breakdown. That is a kind of a deconstruction, if you will, of a layout. And it's things that if you start to look at layouts and look at those three things, and during this series, that's what I will do, is I'll go through those three major points. What does the picture tell us? What is the focal point? And what is the movement? If you start with those three things and then build on them, you can create some beautiful layouts with just a few little design tips. So I think this is going to be fun. I'm learning as we go too, and I hope you enjoy these, and I'm just going to keep doing them. I think they're a lot of fun. If you have any questions about anything on the layouts or design-wise or anything, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.